Oh, hello.
The graphics are incredible.
This is reality!
What's up, y'all? Flux here on Aggretsuko Season 3. Oh my god, look at me. I might actually finish the series before 2030. Aggretsuko Season 3 sees Retsuko make the leap from office punching bag to Popstar extraordinaire. And if that sounds unbelievable, trust me, you're not the only one. Retsuko's willpower is put to the test this season, and for better or worse, I think Season 3 is the most interesting season to discuss. It's the first edition thus far to not be centered around our titular Red Panda finding love, but boy does that creep its way in by the finale. If you guys haven't seen my first two videos on Season 1 and 2, why are you even watching this one? You're out of order. But I'll link those in the description, and I'll also have some cards on screen too, just so you guys can be caught up. Without further ado, let's jump right into Season 3. The first episode's a bit of a slog, as it's the start of Retsuko's money problems for the rest of the season. Fresh off the heels of her turbulent relationship with Tadano, Retsuko finds herself in love again with the virtual unicorn? Not gonna lie, I fall for him too. Like, his business model is solid.
How's this?
Sold!
You like?
Sold!
Double the horn length?
But as funny as the concept is, I feel like it takes away from the reality of the show. Back in Season 1, Retsuko was complaining about spending 3K on yen as a wedding gift.
I'm giving them 30,000 yen as a wedding gift. I had to work my butt off to earn that. It's 30 grand!
But has no problem spending upwards to 200,000 on this virtual brony?
You spent 200,000 yen in your dumb game? You didn't get any prizes, but you're on the top spenders leaderboard, which unlocked exclusive dialogue. What the hell is wrong with you?
It's hard enough for me to believe that Retsuko would fall into the VR partner trap after having a literal billionaire in her fingertips. Paw pads? It would have been interesting if she was used to spending extravagantly with Tadano's money last season, but it didn't seem like that was happening when the two were together. Therefore, this internet addiction comes a bit out of nowhere. Heck, even with her getting addicted to a virtual BF, Haida still can't muster up the balls to ask her out. I'm getting real tired of this shy, nice guy act. Like, I really hope Haida grows some balls or gets some kind of role in this season. Continuing on, after a quick pick-me-up vacation with her mom, Retsuko accidentally crashes into another car while trying to reverse. She must have gotten her license in Egypt, because not only did she drive in reverse while trying to go forward, she managed to go over the parking lot and go 100 miles into the car behind her. Her and that guy from Rio definitely went to the same DMV, like they can't drive for shit. After exchanging information and Retsuko sweating like a pig, no, not that one, the driver, identifying himself as Yodo, reconvenes with Retsuko and presents her with the bill.
50,000 for your car, another 50 for the other guys, and 20 to fix the rental.
When the Red Panda makes it her top priority to pay the damages back, Yodo offers her into working for him. The two then jump in his van, alone, and got into his basement. Okay, Retsuko, you have got to be smarter than that. Again, it's supposed to be quirky and she's not in real danger, but are you serious? Instead of getting kidnapped and trafficked, Retsuko gets introduced to the OTM Girls, an underground J-pop group that actually has their own YouTube channel in real life. It doesn't seem like they're active anymore. They stopped their social presence around the release of the last season back in 2023, but they've held live concerts which look epic as hell. There's a YouTube miniseries with the three main singers. They even have their own website. I would have copped some merch for y'all for this video, but just some fun facts for y'all hardcore fans out there. Getting back to the show, Retsuko's new job is to be the accounting manager for OTM and break the group out of the red and into the limelight, or in layman's terms, kickstart an unknown pop group to Taylor Swift status for free while still balancing out her 9 to 5. The remainder of the first half of the season is comical, with Retsuko having to manage the overbearing yet simple-minded attitude of Yodo, the bratty and cynical nature of the group's leading vocalist Monica, all while still getting buried with busy work back at the office. And she has to avoid Haida's non-existent push to go to dinner. Okay, maybe that last part wasn't happening, but it's still funny to mention. Despite having some initial issues and dragging her feet with helping Yodo, Retsuko gets some pretty solid and practical advice from Washimi that perks her up.
Of course you don't know what to do. You're not putting any thought into this. That's why this producer fellow looks down on you. The job is hard. You're not quitting, so what's next? You have to change your circumstances. Tell me the truth. Have you given it your all?
Side note, but one of the most understated parts of the anime for me are all the little pieces of advice that Retsuko gets throughout the show that apply to her, but could just as well be applied for anyone else who's also trying to get used to adulting. It's an aspect of the show that really makes it stand out from other slice of life shows that feel a bit too sitcom-like. After taking charge from Yodo, cutting back on spending and promoting the group better, the ragtag team eventually break even and stumble into their first check. But this kitty's not satisfied. Desperate to stand out from the other J-pop acts, Yodo decides to make Retsuko the main vocalist of the band, demoting Monica in the process. You'd think with how Monica had been treating Retsuko up to this point that she'd be upset and there'd be a huge conflict, but surprisingly, the singer's emotions aren't as vapid as you'd think. She isn't crazy about the new change, but she's more angry at Retsuko's submissive attitude to her new role than the fact that she'll be taking the role from Monica.
So why don't you want to lead the new song? It better not be because you pity me. If you're about to say you felt bad for me, just don't.
I could never do that stuff. Singing in front of a crowd sounds like torture.
Are you for real? You yelled your balls off at karaoke and put it online. Look, I'm not trying to bust your chops, but don't stand there and act like you don't want to do it. You're one of those girls, huh?
What?
You've got an excuse for everything you do.
Oh, I gotta sing karaoke, twist my arm. Not for fun, though. I was just trying to be fiscally responsible.
Sounds chicken, but you do you.
When Retsuko tries to make excuses and say that the star should be a young face, Monica reveals that she's actually older than Retsuko.
I'm really 26.
I'm 36!
And tells the Panda that she needs to take control of her destiny if she's going to be a part of the quartet. It's here where the real conflict of the season begins. If Retsuko chooses to go from behind the scenes to singing front and stage, she loses that anonymity and her side hustle becomes a full-time endeavor. She also makes her venting hobby her full-time career. It's a very relatable struggle that's all too real for me as a college student. Literally, me writing and reading this script right now was the decision between me making a video and me doing my homework. So y'all are welcome. But after push by push from both Monica and Haida, Retsuko hops on stage and changes her fate forever. To everyone's surprise, Retsuko's sea urchin in a desert type performance manages to kickstart the band into stardom. Unfortunately, it places the red panda turned Starlet into a bit of a predicament. She was only a pop star because she was under Haida's contract and needed the money. Now she's popular and actually earning money, turning what used to be a way for her to vent frustrations into a somewhat fruitful business venture. Does she continue being a pop star and quit her day job? Or go back to her safer 9-to-5 job and return to her spot as office punching bag? The path to stardom doesn't let up for Retsuko easy, with each one of her successes coming at the expense of her free time. After OTM girls make it big, Haida books the quartet for a rock festival that would put the group on the map, but it requires everyone learn how to rock out with pretty much no prep time. And as someone who can play tuba, trumpet, piano, mallet, snare and bass, and kinda saxophone? Yeah, that stuff ain't easy, see? Getting popular leads to having overzealous fans as well, with fake social media accounts posting the girl's location, as well as deranged fans claiming that Retsuko's audition ruined the integrity of the band. Despite this, Retsuko carries on with OTM, even professing to Tone that if she had a chance to choose between her job and her pop star status, she'd be more empowered with being an icon, which is serious character development considering last season, Retsuko couldn't even think of what to do with herself had she ever quit her 9-to-5. Before long though, Retsuko is faced with trouble that forces her to make an emergency decision. But before we can get to the season's finale, we have to talk about... My biggest issue with Haida in season 2 is that he never seemed to pick up the hint that Retsuko wasn't going out with him. He asked her out in season 1, she rejected him, it could have just ended there. And yet Haida continues to think he has a chance to magically change her mind by acting like a coward and just inserting himself into her world. Tadano might have been a bit too blunt with Retsuko about his attitude on marriage, but the mere fact that he was dating Retsuko at all gave Haida the idea that he should kick Tadano's ass for ever laying his eyes on her. Like, who are you, dude? And even after the whole saving her from Tadano bit, Haida's still taking the backseat to all the action in Retsuko's life. But in season 3, it's so much worse than I could have ever imagined. Even with the virtual boyfriend, Haida can't seem to muster up the courage to ask Retsuko on a date. But once he gets suspicious of Retsuko when she becomes popular, he's nosy enough to get a same-day flight to go spy on her? Like they literally have a fan-turned-stalker side by side with Haida creeping on the girl he has no chemistry with. If it wasn't Haida, it'd instantly be considered weirdo behavior. But what tips me over the edge is the unfortunate addition of Inui, a well-meaning dog from The Office. While Retsuko is managing OTM in her work life, Haida managed to fall into a bit of a relationship with Inui. And it's one of the cutest romances I've ever seen. Inui's such a sweet character. Every moment with her and Haida is so adorable, like these two have an amazing chemistry. What makes it all the more angering is when Haida and Feneko break down his relationship with Retsuko and realize that despite 5 years of pining, the two don't know each other at all. Retsuko says he should go with Inui. Gori says he should go with Inui. Feneko says he should go with Inui. Inui is damn near speeding past all the talking stages, getting herself all the way in Haida's kitchen and cooking for him. All the signs are there. Go for the dog! And yet he can't stop stumbling over himself to torture the audience by trying to go for Retsuko. Watching the scene of Inui in Haida's bathroom lamenting in the mirror that she's not good enough for him is one of the saddest scenes in animated history. All because Haida thinks a magical love story is gonna form in thin air for him and Retsuko. It's not fun. I don't want Haida to be with Retsuko. This season is the worst case too. They perfectly depict Haida as more of a fan of Retsuko than an actual suitor option. with him being more of a comfortable distance away from her world and him stuck watching her live out life as the main character. It's no different than a weirdo paying out OnlyFans models thousands of dollars expecting them to want to marry them for being a loyal donor. It comes to a head when a deranged fan from before attempts to attack Retsuko, but surprise, surprise, Haida's nearby to rescue her. Inui also finds herself on the scene, helping out Haida while also trying to separate his kindness with his adoration for Retsuko. But make no mistake, Haida makes it loud and clear that even if he thought with all his heart,
If I thought it through, I bet I would choose her.
come on, man. As a guy in a relationship, this triggers me so bad. To see Inui lay it out in every possible way for Haida, literally asking him straight up if he likes her.
Haida, do you like me?
Do I? Wow.
Because I like you a lot.
And he still fumbles it. How engaging would BoJack be if the entire show was just him trying to get with Diane? I'm surprised with all the recent hate on Jim Halper from The Office that some of that doesn't come Haida's way too. Following Retsuko's attack, she goes on an all-out defensive. Feeling as if the entire world hates her, she moves back in with her mother, which must be insane for her. The last time that she talked to her mother was before the car crash. She didn't even know about the crash or her daughter's secret fame life as a rock star. Awkward.
Embarrassing.
Anyway, Retsuko's retreat leaves her friends in a dilemma, as they want to get the red panda out of her funk before she's fired for her extended absence. But it's not exactly easy to recover from the trifecta punch of getting doxxed, getting reprimanded for making music, and then getting attacked in the streets. While chatting about Retsuko, the entourage make it clear to Haida that he's not getting anywhere with Retsuko, and his Inui situation leaves him with no other choice to move on, which prompts Gory to place Haida in a dating app that she created, which says that
The two of them are soulmates?
hey yo bro, what the f? This newfound knowledge prompts Haida and co to go to Retsuko's mom's house, burst through the door, and drag Retsuko to karaoke. If that wasn't bad enough, the same points that everyone has been making all season about Retsuko and Haida, me included, gets echoed by Retsuko herself.
You're strong. You're gonna get through.
Stop it, Haida! Don't throw your words at me. How is it any different than him? You don't know anything about me. You just think you do. When you push your feelings onto me, I feel so trapped.
Which prompts Haida to sing a song of his own, essentially berating Retsuko for casting herself out from the rest of the world. Now, if it was under the pretense of Haida trying to be a good friend, giving his friend the hard truth, that'd be one thing. But these lyrics, dude?
Sounds chicken to me. Sounds chicken to me.
Jesus Christ. And if that wasn't bad enough, let's not forget that Haida's bottom line here is getting Retsuko out of her funk to date her. Like, could he have not picked a worse time to confess his feelings? Again? So in response, Retsuko, rightfully and empoweringly, tells Haida to piss off, which is probably my favorite moment in the entire episode. She labels bro a creep, which, yeah, it's weird behavior to be stalking a girl you don't know because you think you know what's best for her. But then they just drop it? Retsuko says, the world's out to get me. Haida says, let's punch him back, and she's just back to normal? Retsuko ends up playing the festival, which I think was a nice touch. Honestly, I wish she had just continued being in the band instead of going back to her sucky day job, considering she wouldn't have been safe in her current apartment anyway. But after that, the season just ends.
This came in this and everything went bad. This man.
Where does that leave Haida and Retsuko's relationship? He's been playing coy all season around Retsuko, but just because some dumb app says that him and Retsuko are soulmates, and they end up implying later that Tadano might have done some sort of rigging to get that whole pish-posh set up, he ends up pressing her out? They don't resolve their issues in a meaningful way because to me, I'm on Retsuko's side 100%. He had no right to barge into Retsuko's life and insert himself and his feelings into her scenario. I guess I agree with the general plot structure. Retsuko's room-ridden, has to choose between being an idol and her 9-to-5, ends up choosing her 9-to-5. Like, that feels in character for her. Even though she did enjoy the idol life, she was being forced to sing and she was being forced to perform way past her initial job descriptions. But Haida professing his love with the help of a possibly rigged app is such a cartoonish slap in the face, especially after seeing how down to earth the rest of the season has been to this point. Heck, it's a huge downgrade from her and Tadano's tragic end from last season. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a master writer and I could have written a better ending because I can't. But there could have and should have been a better ending than this. Despite having the most unique plot so far, season 3 was kinda disappointing. It seems like they had a good idea way too early, as returning back to the office setting after potentially being a rock star in the making feels pretty underwhelming. Retsuko gave up on music and casted away Haida, so what really got accomplished this season? She basically just quit everything. Retsuko was initially gaining a bit of backbone having to deal with Popstars, but it seemed like everything reset back to status quo by the final episode. I can respect this season for switching up the format, as it only has one main Retsuko plot as opposed to the usual 2 to 3 they try to balance, but it makes it all the more depressing when Retsuko ends up dropping the idol act pretty half-heartedly. With a slow start, an amazing middle section, and a middling finale, I give season 3 a 7 to 7.5 out of 10, putting it below the first 2 seasons. Which really sucks because season 3 is probably the funniest and most entertaining season thus far, but between Haida and Inui bombing and the underwhelming finale, I can't give the season all its flowers. But hey, we made it to the midway point, and I'm sure it can't go anywhere but up from here, right?
Wanna come in?
Next time, yeah?
Hey guys, it's Flux here. I'm doing another end card because I remember doing one for the Bojack video and I just feel like talking to y'all. How are y'all? How are y'all doing? Hope you're doing good. I'm recording this March 11th and this is the video that I want to get out in March. So yeah, let's find out how long it takes me to edit this audio in this video. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing great because I recorded the 2 scripts that I wanted to. I have this brownie at the end of my desk. I was gonna eat it before, but I was like, you know what? I've been procrastinating on these videos a bit, let me record these and I'll have that as like a sweet treat afterwards. Trying to reward myself for getting stuff done, working out. Trying to think about what my next video will be. I don't know. I guess I'll just look through the comments, I feel like you guys have been pretty vocal. And aside from that Rio video, one of my resolutions this year is to try to, even if it's not in my best interest, try to appease what you guys want, because at the end of the day, if you like my content and you want to see certain stuff from my point of view or in my style, then who am I to, shut that down, I guess. So yeah, that's all I got. Like and subscribe, of course, share the video if you liked it, share with all your friends, throw it up on the TV screen, it's getting hot outside, so y'all get the George Foreman grill, get the Flux guys up on the projector, really appreciate it. And yeah, this is 22 minutes. I don't know if the video will be that long, we'll see, but yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.